Today's episode, we're going to break down what happened at Backlash last night. Cody was supposed to get squashed by Brock, but who left seeing red? Also, are we on the verge of seeing not one, but two groups break up? And also, how did one bad wrestler put on the best match of the night? We're going to discuss these things, the crew and I, on Ringside right now. All right, let's ring the bell, fellas. Welcome to Ringside right now. I'm your host, Pierre, and of course, I'm always with the crew, Clint, Jonathan, and Curtis. We're in the fatal four-way today because we're down one man, but hey, we're still going to go through with it. And before we get started today, be sure you comment, like, subscribe, and share this video with everyone you know, and as well as check us out on Instagram at Ringside right now. So, fellas, let's get into it. Let's talk about what happened at Backlash last night. So let's start off with the card. The first match of the night started off with Bianca Belair versus Io Sky. And Io actually got a lot of pops last night, with that match. But Bianca did end up pulling it out with some very impressive moves. So, fellas, tell me what y'all think about the match.
First of all, it was a great crowd last night.
Hot crowd.
Io got the big pop and the big crowd support during the match, but I gotta say, before and after, Bianca also got a big pop too. So the crowd showed lots of love for both ladies. It was a great match. I think it really set up what we predicted was going to come along, maybe the breakup of Damage Control, but we got to see that old NXT Io that we haven't seen on the main roster yet. And even Michael Cole, I believe he made a comment, something about the fans were really hoping to see the old Io. So, it was a great match overall. She got to show that she's ready to go off on her own. Bianca retained and showed why she's the big star of the women's division. Overall, good match.
The crowd was like a soccer crowd. It had that feel of a soccer crowd, and I've always loved that from international crowds, even though Puerto Rico is technically a U.S. territory, but we're not going to go there. But I was shocked that match went first, but it was an incredible match. I was surprised by the finish, but it works when you think about it and link the storyline together. And Io Sky definitely showed she's ready for prime time at some point, or she will be. And got to give it to Bianca, not just making history for being the longest reigning Raw Women's Champion, but sure, she got some boos, but she earned the respect. She made him care, and she let him know, hey, she can perform just as well. And that was just an incredible match, and I loved every second of it. That's one of those fight forever matches that you love to see. And to Clint's point, that's that old NXT Io Sky we've been waiting for some time, and I'm glad we're getting it.
Yeah, I don't think it was so much that they were booing Bianca. They just really wanted to cheer for Io. They really wanted her to win. But like I said, they were happy either way. So, it was just a good crowd and a good match.
And as far as history, simply put, she go here now.
What do you got to say, Nuxie?
Yeah, I thought Io looked like the NXT champion of old. She was flying all over the place, and she put a great match on. That crowd was nuclear. They were hot, man. They were, like Curtis said, it was like a soccer crowd, just into everything, chanting, and we'll get into later when they really got hot. But they were really just
my one complaint, and I wouldn't say it's a complaint because these things happen in wrestling, was when Bianca was doing that one-handed
she almost dropped her head. Yeah,
she dropped her. Like, it looked like she landed on her face, but I mean, she kept going.
Yeah.
So
she did. God bless her.
Yeah.
Another thing about last night is you and I, Clinton, talked about the ramp. it reminded me of the WrestleMania mask,
Yeah.
short entryway, and that it was kind of cool. It was something different,
Yeah,
usually
it was like an
that's
old school
you
feel
have
to it.
that 40-yard cart to take you to the thing, or
Yeah.
big arena, so it was kind of cool, something different. So I kind of enjoyed that.
Yeah, I liked it.
Or is Damage
Definitely. And then
Control going
go
to
ahead.
SmackDown? Are they going to SmackDown also?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to SmackDown,
So they
and
could.
it was a nice segue how Michael Cole teased that maybe it was Bailey's fault that Io didn't win. So now you're planting the seeds
Well,
of that breakup.
they definitely planted that seed because if you notice, she had that match under control and had that match pretty much won until Damage Control showed up. And I think that was the point. I had this match won and you guys had to come and ruin it. So,
Right.
the seeds are planted right there. That's
So
your storytelling.
They could end up having a rematch again sometime soon, maybe.
I would not be opposed to it.
Bianca's the Raw champion going to SmackDown, of course, whatever that means. But she's gonna have to give her belt and swap belt.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll see what happens tomorrow night with that as far as how that belt situation is going to go.
That's pretty much all.
And so, yeah, no. Now, with that said, going on to the next match of the night, which was the most random of matches tonight, and it actually wasn't a bad match between Seth freaking Rollins and Omos. To me, yeah, Seth ended up winning with a curb stomp off the top rope.
Super.
But to me, this was one of Omos's better looking matches solo. But it wasn't a terrible match. What do you guys think about the match?
Well,
Go ahead.
as a fan, we're not supposed to notice when one wrestler is quote unquote carrying the match. It's supposed to look good and it's supposed to look like both wrestlers did their part. I could actually tell that Seth was carrying that match. So it was a good match, but I'm not going to give Omos any big credit on it just yet. That was mostly Seth, and it was obvious, but it was a good match. I loved how he did the curb. Well, first of all, I love how he blocked the first curb stomp. We'll give that much to Omos. He blocked that first curb stomp. That was a cool visual. And then he did the other two stomps, and then the top rope stomp, which was all Seth.
An avalanche curb stomp or a super stomp?
I called it a
Avalanche.
super
I think that's a good
avalanche.
one. Avalanche.
I thought it was
Excalibur would say avalanche. I would call it super. Either way. Yeah.
Paul called it avalanche. Or he would.
But either way, it was a cool visual and not a bad match. I'm personally shocked that Omos lost because I thought they would use this match to kind of, push this monster giant they're trying to push on us. So I was kind of shocked, but Curtis called it, and I think Jonathan, I don't know who else called it, but I called it wrong.
I'm counting, but almost looked better, I think, honestly. I didn't feel like I'm watching I think he's getting better. I don't know who's working with him, but he seemed to be moving around the ring better, and maybe a lot of that was Seth, but I didn't sit there and watch the match like, oh my God, this is horrible. I just let myself go and watch it. And that finishing move was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was cool. And then he sold it afterwards pretty well. Like he had a bad headache. So I don't know what Rollins is in that tournament that's coming up. I mean, you guys sent me the name.
Yes, he actually they got announced it
Yeah.
today. He is in that tournament for the world title. So I think that's why he didn't lose, because he's probably the favorite to win it. But that based on the participants, he's probably the favorite to win.
I mean, I
tournament.
get that, but I mean, they still I personally think they still could have pushed him to win, even if he did lose Omos. But I get it. So
what they're doing is they're having a tournament on Raw and one on SmackDown. So whoever wins from SmackDown is not going to win because Rollins is there. I mean,
whoever wins from SmackDown, I assume they would transfer him over to Raw. They didn't really specify that, but I'm assuming that's what the idea is.
Well, that's a story for another time. Sorry.
Yeah.
But
You're fine. Curtis, what you think?
I believe, all great points, but I believe I was the only one who called that, albeit with help from a coin toss. Kind of puts a song into my heart.
No.
King Petty. We see the crown.
Can we throw that disclaimer up again? No, I'm just kidding.
But all pettiness aside, Seth carried it, but he carried it in a way where Omos did look a little look good. It wasn't one of his better matches. He did look good in the match, but
which one is one of his better matches? Tell me your favorite Omos match.
The Brock match would have been better. We'll get to Brock in a second, but it was in a way where Seth showed why he is Seth freaking Rollins, but Omos gave him the business in some points. But I liked how the first one was blocked. It was nicely done.
Yeah.
And hey, the Avalanche curb stomp did what it was supposed to do. I had no complaints about it.
That's still not as cool as the RKO that he took at WrestleMania. Sorry.
What will ever be as good as that?
It's one of the best RKOs.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to beat that moment.
Yeah.
Now moving on to the next next match of the card, where we actually had a triple threat for the WWE United States Championship. Austin Theory taking on Bobby Lashley and Bronson Reed. Of course, you had some nice hard hitting, some cool spots. Bronson Reed doing a moonsault, even though he missed and everything. But Austin Theory ended up sneaking out a win after Bobby Lashley hit Bronson Reed with a spear. He got thrown out of the ring by Theory. Theory goes for the pin. So what do you guys think about that match?
I think that match ended exactly like we thought it would. We said that Bronson and Lesnar were going to Bronson and Lashley, were going to beat the crap out of each other, and then Austin Theory was going to steal it. So we figured that, but it was still a fun match. Bronson Reed is a freaking beast.
Oh my gosh.
When I did my fantasy matches, I should put him against Bam Bam. Dude is
my man.
I would have been incredible. Yes,
man, he is the next generation Bam Bam, I swear, and he's doing moves that no one that size should be able to do. He's definitely going to be a future champion.
I agree. That finish was perfect.
Yeah, it
was.
was.
In fact, he actually dressed like Bam Bam Bigelow at an NXT takeover. Really? But that was a tribute to him. But yeah, he definitely gives you Bam Bam Bigelow vibes. And how many? I mean, you can count on one hand how many guys his size do a moonsault or do as many top rope moves and high spots as he did.
Yeah.
I mean, kudos.
You guys
to him.
tell me the truth.
Amazing,
agile as he does.
Yeah. Very. Now tell the truth. When he was on the outside of the rope and Bobby Lashley was on the floor and he got up on the ropes, tell me for one split second you thought that he was going to try to do a moonsault off the ropes on the Bobby Lashley on the floor at one time.
And you know what? it wouldn't surprise me. It would not surprise me. It would have been cool, but I wouldn't have been shocked by it.
Oh my gosh! But hey, but like we said, Austin Theory got the win the way we predicted, and kind of enjoyed the ways he was drawing the heat in that match. It's like one of those matches where, as a performer, you're just enjoying doing things with the crowd. And I noticed that with another wrestler. We'll get to that later, but
I noticed that a lot. I think the wrestlers had a lot of fun at Backlash, which, when they're having fun, they're putting on a good show, and we're having fun. It was just a fun event all around. But yeah, it's something else I get into with the next match.
I think he's getting more comfortable in his skin, being a heel.
Yeah,
the crowd is
definitely
not being shoved down your throat anymore. Like I said, that finish was perfect because it wasn't the low blow or it was win. It was just it was more smart than anything else.
Yeah,
just pick the spot
out of the ring, and he pinned it. It was perfectly written, and I think he's embracing his. He's not McMahon's chosen guy anymore. That's probably helping him, but he's getting it, and he's getting better every time I see him as far as his persona and his in-ring work and everything. And he looks great. And let's face it, the guy's built. My mom mentioned Bobby Lashley last night. She said, "Who's that guy?" I was like, "Oh, Bobby Lashley." It's like, damn.
I mean, Bobby is Bobby, but I will say one thing about Theory. It's one thing, have some guy shoved down your throat just to make the like or the hate, but it's another to see a guy actually grow into the role to where people are hating him because he's a heel, not because he's being forced down your throat.
Yeah,
and I think the crowd is enjoying that.
And because he's so good at what he does. Like, it wasn't it was a clean win last night, but it was still a cheap win where it was like, oh, I can't believe he did that. I can't believe he got away with it. But I mean, he won clean. I mean, what can you do? He didn't break any rules or anything. He used the match rules to his advantage.
You let one guy do all the work, and then you came in and picked up the scraps.
Smart.
He's earning it. He's 25. He's a future world champion. I cannot see him
Absolutely
title.
Definitely can see it. And if he keeps the heel persona going, he's one of the best heel champs.
Yeah.
Of this generation period.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been
going forward.
We've heard of for probably 5 years, I guess. He was in Progress or Evolve or something when he was real young, right? And then he went to NXT and studied at the Tree of Gargano. So I'm sure that helped him too. Like Johnny's a good persona anyway. He's gonna be a world champion, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, you got Triple H to be a mentor as well as far as how to feed into that heel persona, which will definitely help going forward, especially as the creative directive goes with that. So next to the next couple of matches that probably should have been saved for toward the end of the pay-per-view, but the first one being WWE SmackDown Women's Champ Rhea Ripley taking on Selena Vega. It was a good match. It was a very good match going back and forth. The crowd was definitely into it with Rhea pulling it out with a riptide on Selena for the 1, 2, 3. So what do you guys think about how that match?
This one was more so for the emotions of Zelina Vega. So I wasn't expecting this to be necessarily one of the better matches of the night. It was still a good match, and Zelina did her thing. She showed what she could do in the ring, and she showed she's very talented. And kind of like what I said about the last match, Rhea Ripley was just having fun, just messing with the crowd, especially with just any little thing, even the tiniest little thing she could do to get that nuclear heat, she was doing it. So that was just basically, the two were kind of playing around and experimenting with things, and I would love to see them go at it again in the future. And we obviously would love to see more from Zelina Vega, because she's proven she's got the goods to get the job done. She's got the skills. We just need more opportunities to see her. But all in all, nice little match. Probably could have been saved later in the show, but considering everything that went after, I can't blame them for the order.
Yeah, I probably would have put it a little bit later in the show, but I mean, I'm fine with its placement. It was a beautiful moment watching her get that reaction, just watching the emotion in her face and watching her get that love from that crowd. So that was wonderful. Of course, you can almost see the wheels turning in Rhea's head. How can I use this to my advantage? As much love, as much of a pop she's getting, how can I turn that around to get the most heat out of this crowd? So you can tell they had fun with it. It wasn't a very long match, but I mean, it served its purpose. You got Zelina, who's much smaller. She's got a lot of fight in her, but in the end, the bigger, stronger opponent's going to win. But overall, it's a good match. I imagine the House of Black were at home watching it and what they were thinking about it.
Definitely. What do you think, Nuxie?
Honestly, Zelina might have taken the pin, but I think she was the winner. I mean,
yeah, definitely.
I just teared up a little bit watching her and how emotional she was being able to wrestle in front of her home country, and the outfit she had was incredible.
Oh, well, yeah, that was awesome. I don't think I've ever wound a show just to watch someone's response to a crowd reaction like that. I had to rewind it just to watch her come down to the ring and watch that look on her face and hear that crowd again. It was just awesome.
You might not have won the match last night, but to me, she was the winner.
Yeah.
Man, you can't say that any better, Nuxie. That she definitely won the night for sure. And of course, the match that probably had one of the loudest pops I've ever heard since Stone Cold, where we had Damian Priest taking on Bad Bunny in a street fight.
Man,
you're talking about that pop crowd was, my gosh. To be in that arena, I bet you literally everything was shaking in that match. And of course, we and to give credit to Bad Bunny, I mean, Bad Bunny did pull out the win with a Puerto Rican destroyer, I'll call it that. But man,
I think Michael Cole called it that too.
Bunny destroyer.
Yeah, exactly. But the bumps that he took, the Falcon arrow through the table outside the match. And of course, we had a couple surprise visitors, not just the LWO. We also had Carlito and Savio Vega being involved in the match.
Yes.
And Bad Bunny
Oh,
actually
my
pulling out the
goodness.
win. And the crowd popped from the moment Bunny got in to the moment Bunny won. You're talking the crowd was into it the whole time. What did you guys think about
So
the match? And especially
that was
the Bad.
absolutely the match of the night. It was certainly the most fun match I've seen in a long time, but it was definitely a match of the night. That crowd was singing along like it was Judas and Jericho in AEW when Bunny came out, and then the big pop when he came out with that New Jack cart full of weapons and the Michinoku driver, the sliced bread #2 from Bad Boy. I mean, he pulled out. We knew he could wrestle. We knew he had barely been training and working hard, but he still pulled out some new surprises last night. Excellent performance from Bad Bunny. If he wants to keep doing this, he certainly has a future in WWE. Great match overall. Good job with the crowd. I love the surprises with the LW. Well, I knew the LWO was going to come out. So my first thing was, let's see, Damien was beating him. And then Judgment Day came out, and my first question was, where's the rest of the LWO? And then we get Carlito.
Cool.
And that was awesome. And then we get the LWO and then Savio. I loved it. I loved it all. Like I said, most fun match I've seen in a long time.
Let's do this though. Let's give Priest some credit because he made Bunny look good. And
he did. He did.
Absolutely.
His ass kicked and to be left laying there. And he made him look good. He sold his leg
and he made it look legitimate because in reality, like I said, a musician is not going to come in off the street and beat a wrestler in a wrestling match. So he made it look like, for example, he hit him with the South of Heaven, pinned him, and then pulled him up, which normally, again, this guy is not a wrestler, so that could have been the end of the match easily. I wouldn't have believed it if Bad Bunny had kicked out. So him pulling him up was the best move. And like I said, he knew what moves to sell, what moves not to sell, what to make look strong, what to not make look strong. He opened himself up, gave himself a weakness, especially with the leg, and Bunny took it from there. It was who produced that match? Was it Jamie Noble? I think I read Jamie Noble produced it. He deserves a raise.
I didn't get a chance, but
I think it was Jamie Noble. I think I
got a raise. Give him a raise.
Yeah, but yeah, everyone involved with making that match
was great.
They all deserve a standing ovation.
WWE deserves credit for is when they let these celebrities in, they find people that respect the business.
Yeah.
Logan Paul, that guy, I mean, he's goofy as hell on his podcast, not in a terrible way, and Bunny's a musician. I mean, but neither one of them look.
Yeah, they get in the ring and they take it seriously.
Kid from Green Arrow, Amel.
Yeah.
Look at him.
Yeah.
The business and they take it serious. Even Johnny Knoxville, he didn't look like an idiot in there either. I didn't think. I mean, he's funny. He's a comedian. I mean, they had giant hands and everything. But as far as the wrestling went, if they take it seriously and respect the business, it shows.
Yeah.
And Bunny could do it again if he wanted to. I could see him wrestling at WrestleMania or who knows?
I mean, I could see him in a one-on-one match with Logan Paul. We were wondering if Bad Bunny was ready for a one-on-one match, but now I can see it.
And then I have one more question. Did Ray have a shark mask on?
I didn't even look into that.
I can't remember.
I can't remember. I have to go back and watch it. I think it might have been
Shark Boy.
But I will say this. As far as that crowd, only two things would have been louder than that. A Jet and a Lizzo concert. I have not experienced a Jet, but I've experienced a Lizzo concert. But that's neither here nor there. The point was, it was almost like the roof was about to blow off. You hear that about a lot of events, about a lot of moments in sports, but that had to have been one of them.
Yeah.
And we've talked about this, and Clinton made that point where Damien was going to make Bad Bunny look good. They're friends in real life, so he was going to protect them. He did.
Yeah.
He was going to make him look good. He made him look great. And Bad Bunny was just on the whole time. Yeah. I mean, who'd have thought that if you would have told me about 5 years from now Bad Bunny's gonna have a match,
gonna be
and
the
it
match
will
of the
be the
night.
match of the night. I would not have believed you. I would have not believed anyone. I was like, no, you crazy, you done lost your mind, but kudos to Bad Bunny. He
Yeah, and
just rocked it.
we talked about guys, matches where one guy carries the match. Both of them did their part in that match.
Yeah,
Both. I mean,
The placing of that match. Go ahead, Jonathan.
I didn't think either one of them looked like, it looked like it was a hell of a match.
yeah.
An incredible
Right.
match.
Your point, Curtis, about friends that know each other. James Storm wrestled. A lot of people probably don't know Dustin Starr. They're going to watch this, but James Storm and Dustin Starr trained together, and they wrestled at a little place here in Memphis one time. And he said, "We're friends. We're going to beat the hell out of each other." So I guess you got that trust factor.
Exactly.
Take it up a notch because you trust, like one of us. If we were wrestling each other, I trust you not to drop me on my head, or we're gonna
Exactly.
But
Exactly.
we're just friends. We're having a good time. We love each other.
It's fun,
Right.
And when it's
And
fun,
they were having a great time. The fans were having a great time. And it just had you on the edge of your seat, like, okay, what kind of crazy stuff are they going to do next? And
the pacing of that match was
it was great pacing, and it wasn't like over the top ridiculous. And like I said, Bunny did that figure 4 leg lock he did look wonderful. That was awesome figure 4.
The way it was really smooth the way he did it. It's not Ric Flair-esque, but it was incredibly smooth. And again, both Michinoku drivers.
Yeah.
He did that like a 6-year veteran.
Yeah.
It's like he felt like you would have thought he'd been doing this for a long time. Like, it's like he'll do a concert and then he'll probably wrestle the rest of that week. But my goodness, he was so comfortable in there. It wasn't even funny.
Yeah.
He did not look out of place at all.
And,
exactly.
And I feel like,
I
would have disrespected Carlito if I didn't mention him. But man, Carlito looks great.
He does. Yeah.
I mean, personally, I'm a Granny Smith Apple kind of person myself, so I might have to add those to my list, especially with the way he was looking. But man, good to see Savio Vega
he
back.
did make that apple look good. I think I want an apple right now. It looked pretty tasty.
What kind of apples was he eating that night? I mean, come on.
It may have been Golden Delicious, man. It may not have been Granny. It might have been Golden Delicious. Who knows?
Hey, it probably was, but hey, kudos to everyone involved. Just give everybody a raise that was doing that match.
And of course, to have to follow that match, you actually have the 6-man tag of the champs, the undisputed tag champs, KO and Sami Zayn teaming up with Matt Riddle, taking on the Usos and Solo Sikoa. It was a nice back and forth match, a lot of teasing with Solo actually getting the spike on Matt Riddle and getting the pin for the win for the bloodline. And of course, we saw some dissension going on between Jay and Solo. So what do you guys think about the match and the possible seeds of that dissension now being sown even deeper than before?
Right, here's one line that was said: "I'm your brother, and he's not." Did you hear him say that?
Yeah,
he did say that. Jay did say that.
He snuck that in there. But I will say that this was like one of two matches that, as I was watching the whole show, I'm like, you know what? I may regret picking the bloodline here, but my goodness, that you can't. I'm good with, and not because I picked the bloodline, but I'm good with the fact that they won. But the Usos, they're not out of the woods yet because they could have easily screwed this one up.
Yeah.
And Solo, in not so many words, made that known. He's like, yeah, we'll celebrate this win, but just remember, Roman was watching. And my goodness, the teases were incredible, nicely placed. Pacing was incredible, and I'm pretty sure Kevin Owens during that Bad Bunny match had to have been meeting up with his team, thinking, okay, now how the heck are we supposed to follow this?
Yeah, I had to follow that.
I got a question.
But it was the storytelling though in the match.
Is Solo the younger brother of Jay and Jimmy?
Yeah.
Yes. He's the younger brother.
But yeah, that the food crumbs that are leading us to the eventual bloodline, whatever happens.
Yeah,
Your brother, he's not. I mean, it's all family. I mean, it's all family at the end of the day, but there's no bond. I'm gonna probably choke up talking about this since I lost my brother. There's no bond like that.
yeah.
God bless you, Justin.
Yeah, I'm glad the Bloodline got the win because after they lost the tag titles, they needed that win. You don't want to bury them too much, but I like the fact that they still got the win, but they kind of lost in a way because they still again have that dissension and they're teasing that breakup. There was a lot of aggression in those tags, especially when Jay slapped Solo on the chest and when he almost gave him Samoan Spike. There's a lot going on there. Um, and I wasn't seeing it before, but you guys are right. I think we are going to see a split where it's going to be Solo siding with Roman against the Usos. I think we're headed in that direction.
And he held that spike. It wasn't like, oh, that you're
Yeah. It
oh,
wasn't like I didn't know it was you. It was like I really want to, but I'm not gonna.
do it. It's like,
And it leaves us with more questions, which you want a great storyline to do because you want to be left with some questions like, okay, they got the win here, but what's next?
What
What's
next
Roman gonna
exactly?
do? What's he gonna say?
on.
I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, by the time this episode airs, well, they're on Raw, they're on SmackDown, so we've got time. I'm really curious to see what's going to happen on SmackDown. Is Roman going to be showing up again anytime soon?
Yeah, he's supposed to show up at SmackDown.
Okay, so yeah, so that's going to be very, very interesting. I'm loving this storyline build up.
That's when you think you can't add more to a long-going storyline. They add yet another thing that keeps you interested. And kudos to Triple H for that Dusty Rhodes type of storytelling.
Yeah,
Just subtle little things. I was like,
yeah,
okay, this match is the crowd was a little dead because of what just happened before, which is not no fault of theirs, but it's like, okay, well, okay. And then he slapped him on the chest, and I was like, ooh, wait a minute. And then he said that little line, and Solo looked like he wanted to put his thumb right through his skull, like Mortal Kombat.
yeah.
Great. And then he finally
I
snapped,
mean, that's
celebrated, and I was like, okay, well, so the next, yeah, you're wanting to see what's going to happen that next episode of SmackDown. That's like I said, Tony Khan, that's the stuff that keeps you involved and engaged. Which God bless AEW, they sold 65,000 tickets. I think they're going to sell 100,000 tickets. I forgot London's been on lockdown from COVID for years, so they need some entertainment.
I'm just happy for them. I'm happy that AEW is selling is going to, I'm happy they got to 65,000. If they don't sell a single other ticket, I think that's great.
Announced a match yet? How are they not going to sell another 35? They have not announced any matches.
That's incredible.
Especially,
That's
especially if they bring
WrestleMania-esque.
Punk back. Especially, I think if they bring Punk back, they're going to sell another 20,000 alone off that.
That's a tangent.
so. This just goes to show the type of competition they got going on now because of this amount of sales. Having storylines like the Usos and going against Roman and Solo. I mean, guys, there are a lot of subtle things you saw throughout that match and the pacing match where you just kind of forgot about KO and Sammy and Riddle because you were so intrigued about what was going on in the tag match and
Exactly.
that story. You didn't even think about that they had the titles on that side or any of that, and you wanted to see that decision take place. So it's going to be interesting to see what goes on happens going forward with this whole story arc. And like you guys are saying, you could tell this is an old school
Yeah.
building up to something major at some point.
Remember, I was like, why the hell are the belts not on the line? Now it makes sense. Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, I'm never going to question Triple H anymore. What
Yeah. I think we learned that lesson.
Unlike the other show, which the wrestling's fabulous. Okay, we've already arced on this for an hour and a half on the show, but Triple H studied at the tree of Dusty. He gets it. Dusty grew up like I watched Clash of the Champions from NWA then in 1987. Fabulous. Just going back in time. Anyway, we're getting on a tangent. I'm sorry, but it's that the Bloodline storyline is one of the best storylines ever. I think, especially in this.
It's definitely the best storyline going on today. I don't think any other promotion has a story as in depth as the Bloodline story right now.
That was well done. And, the belt's not being on the line. It all makes sense now. And it was fantastic because it advances that. And you're like, okay, you've got a family, but you got a brother that might turn on his own brothers to side with. I guess Roman's their uncle, correct? Is that correct?
Roman
Cousin,
is
I
their
think.
cousin.
Whatever. It's Samoans. They're all interrelated. They're fabulous anyway. But it's great. It's great. So I guess at Blood Money Night of Billionaires, Saudi Arabia, we'll be watching. Are they going to be on the card or no? Oh, they can't travel, can't they?
They haven't announced the card yet, so
Well, the Usos
but
can't travel to Canada. I think they can go to Saudi.
Oh, but
They
it's
can go to
yeah.
Saudi.
Yeah, it's Canada.
Sammy can't go to Saudi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that doesn't really have a whole lot to do with anything. But they're
All right, and now talking about the main event of the night, we have Brock Lesnar taking on Cody Rhodes. Typical Brock and Cody, like you would expect. Of course, Cody attacking right out the gate, and of course, it was Brock who ended up actually taking a cut due to an exposed turnbuckle, which somebody got the pad as a souvenir. But Cody did pull out the win, even after being in the armbar. So it was quite shocking and probably a setup for another match down the line. What do you guys think about the match?
first of all, did he blade or did he just hit his noggin on the turnbuckle?
You know what? I rewound it, and if he did blade, I didn't see it. I think he did, and I think he just hit it really well, but I didn't see it at all.
I don't think he
I didn't
bladed
see it
because
either.
it seems like WWE have been like real sticklers about not doing that.
Well,
But he don't care about paying that fine.
Triple H, yeah. Plus, Triple H may have allowed it because he's in charge of creative. I'm shocked he bladed because when was the last time we saw Brock Lesnar bleed?
I can't.
Probably WrestleMania 31 against Roman, but that was hard way.
Yeah, but that's that alone is a cool promo from Cody where he can say, "Hey, I made the beast bleed. I proved that he is human."
Stuff like he's a savage. That was cool.
Yeah. I also like the fact, and I think Jonathan said he didn't like the finish. I like the fact that he outsmarted Brock to get the win. He didn't just kick Brock's ass and just knock him out, because it's still Brock Lesnar, but you wanted Cody to win, so he didn't dominate Brock. He just got the win and got the hell out of there. And I actually like the finish,
Problem I have with the finish, he could have snapped his arm in 1 second. And he's done it before.
He could have, and they did actually say it on commentary. He's going to break his arm.
I didn't have a problem with him rolling him over. That was cool. They got to get Cody a win somehow. And Lesnar's a beast. He hit him with the stairs before the match. He tried to kill him. It didn't work. Brock did the old shake the cobwebs loose. I cannot see them not having a rematch. Some kind of Extreme Rules match or Hell in the Cell or something. This is not a one-off victory.
Definitely cannot have a one-off on this.
Brock's not going to let that stand.
They're going to have another match. And I think Cody's eventually, what I've read is that he and Roman are going to wrestle WrestleMania next year. So he's going to have to go through his broken glass and do his hard time.
Yeah.
Everybody tough on the roster on his side.
So I got a question because Cody's in that tournament. And like I said, by the time this airs, Raw may have already happened. But do we think that Brock's going to interfere and cost Rhodey in that tournament?
Brock not in the
I was just thinking that.
Not in the tournament.
Because Cody did mention that this part, like competing for the world title, is not part of the story. It's a different story.
Yeah.
But he's still focused on the main story, which is beating Roman for the belts that he has.
Yeah.
So I was just thinking Brock is probably going to cost Cody, which will set up another match. And then they'll have the rubber match after the fact where they will end up, and they'll probably stretch this out till SummerSlam, I'm thinking.
He's going to injure him and knock him out of the tournament, and Lesnar's going to take his place. I'm calling it right now. That's what's going to happen.
Okay.
That will be interesting.
But remember, he is a free agent, so he can show up on both shows and cost
havoc
somebody on either side, the title match.
How does the tournament work? You got the guys all on one night in one thing
win? It's
each show has 2 triple threat matches. The winners of those face off in the main event that same night, and whoever wins for that represents that particular brand and goes to Night of Champions. So two triple threats on Raw, main event, then they represent Raw, then same thing with SmackDown.
Triple threat matches are no DQ.
Yeah.
Yo,
Yep.
Exactly.
He's
Yep.
not winning. He's going to get an F5 on the steps 18 times, and he's not going to win. Yeah, no. There's your how that happened.
Plus, like I said, Cody should stay far away from that belt anyway. He should be focusing on the Roman's belt because it's a WWE title that he wants.
I think they should get Rollins should get that belt right now.
I agree.
Yeah, Rollins is probably going to win the world title.
Well, one or two things are going to happen. Either Rollins is going to get the belt now, or they're going to give it to some heel, and Rollins will get it at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
Rollins, because the fans are going to be behind him either way. The fans want Rollins to get it, so you can give it to them now and give the fans what they want now, or you can drag it out and make some money off of it and give the fans what they want later down the line and take them for a ride in the process.
Give it to Madcap Moss.
It's always fun to see the.
Oh my God, man!
It's always fun to see.
Last on these episodes.
Oh no!
Give him a paper belt.
It's always fun to see the babyface chase the belt. So that's what I'm saying. Give it to who else is in the tournament? So it's Cody, Seth,
Miz,
AJ.
Miz is in there.
Miz is in there.
Yeah, Miz is.
AJ, yeah.
Okay, so
the Damian Priest and Finn Balor.
Cody and Seth are in the same match.
Well, they're not be in the same match. They're going to be on the same night because they're both on Raw.
They haven't announced the matches yet. They've just announced,
So it's Miz, Shinsuke Nakamura, Finn Balor, Cody, Seth, and Damian for Raw, and not necessarily for Raw, but then there's also Bobby Lashley, Edge, AJ Styles, Rey Mysterio, Sheamus, and Austin Theory.
Be some great matches, if nothing else.
So Judgment Day are on Raw now, right?
Together.
Yes, they're on Raw.
So
with Rhea. So
give it to Balor. You give you have Balor win the world title, then you've got that heel group running Raw, and you've got a babyface who's going to chase them, and of course he's going to have to go through Dom and Damian on his way to get to Finn. There you go. I just booked it to SummerSlam. There you go.
Compete with them already too. So
I wouldn't be opposed to it. Now, of course, you can also make the argument, and I think I've made this argument, that you want the first guy who wins the title be somebody who Roman hasn't beaten. Now, you don't have too many people. Now, right off the bat, you got Lashley and you got Seth.
Well, and he did beat the Demon. I forgot about that. But, we can ignore that, though, because no one wants to remember that match.
So Balor's never wrestled him as Balor before.
Yeah, he wrestled him as the Demon. Plus, Balor didn't get a chance to really redeem himself when he had to give up the Universal title. He won it, had to give it up, and never saw.
Yeah. Now I do remember one good moment about that particular match. You had the heartbeat of the theme play, and then next thing you know, the Demon kind of resurrects, and Pat McAfee sold it incredibly.
Yeah, but then they had to ruin it with that finish.
Yeah. I say it was one good moment, so there's that.
You know what? You got a point there, because you remember the promo Balor and Rhodes did, because the whole Bullet Club history and everything they've got.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Now there's an instant storyline and heat right there, so that would work.
Yeah.
Plus, I think we need to reward 14 staple Finn, anyway. So
at some point, you have to.
That's true.
Now back to the match, since we went all the way we went on a tangent.
Yeah, we were talking about Backlash. That's right.
Yeah. So, but I like the finish. Cody did the smart thing, attacking Brock before the match even started. But then Brock was being Brock, which was what we expected. Cody had some moments of trying to come back, but then Brock simply was being Brock.
Yeah.
Then you have the Kimura lock, which can legitimately break anybody's arm. We're not going to lie about that. But Cody outsmarting him and still showing those wounds of battle, incredible.
I expected him to bleed when he got touched back.
Right.
He did.
Nobody expected Brock to be the one to bleed.
Yeah. Nobody expected that, but I'm going to be honest. the turnbuckle pad flying into the crowd was hilarious.
Yeah, that was funny. You see the guy grab it like, yeah.
I mean, I would have done
He
it.
forgot all about that match.
Brock is always throwing something to the crowd, car doors, people.
Actually,
But he didn't throw it this time.
Actually, it was
He didn't
in
throw it.
Cody's hands technically because Cody was trying to prevent a suplex,
but he threw
went
Cody,
flying.
so I guess you want to count it that way. He threw Cody,
technically
and
it
Cody
flew out of Cody's hands. But hey, if it was me, I would have grabbed it and protected it with my life. So there's that. But I love the finish. What made sense. I loved it, and Cody did sell his arm being in really bad shape. So it's going to be interesting to see where they go from there. But a nice match, good finish, and no complaints.
My favorite Lesnar was the one where he used to have the ghetto blaster on his shoulder. Sombrero, and he's dancing around. It was epic. Anyway, sorry.
Oh, with the Money in the Bank, the Brock party.
Oh my.
Yeah. But that was Backlash in a nutshell, if you will. You guys tell us what you think. How did you think about the card? Did it go the way you expected? Did you get them all right like King Petty did right here? Or did you miss a couple? Or tell us what you think going forward. Just be sure to leave a comment below. Hit that like and subscribe button. Share this video with a friend. And also hit that notification bell just so you know when we drop new content. And Clinton, where can they find us on Instagram?
At Ringside right now.
Luxy, what's your YouTube channel?
It's youtube.com/@NUCKSY for Nuxie.
All right. For the crew, Clint, Curtis, and Jonathan, I am Pierre, and this has been Ringside Right Now. Let's ring that bell to end it on up.